Hello again. This is Ray Flanagan with the Potato Heads podcast. Once again, I'm with Sheri Goodman Graham. We're 1,900 miles apart, but side by side on the Zoom call. And I've never actually met Sheri in person, but we've been friends for 6 years now. Sheri has a page called the Plant-Based Whole Foods for Health, Weight, and Longevity. Or was that the other one? Anyway, Sheri's a plant-based dietitian and lifestyle coach. How you doing, Sheri?
I'm doing great, Ray. Wow, let me see that shirt you have on. That is fabulous.
That's
That's
my that's my
beautiful.
smoothie shirt. How about that?
Ah, the colors are just gorgeous.
Yeah, I've been adding sprouts to my smoothies now, and they're really something. I make I guess mostly fruit. I do have some kale and spinach that's frozen. I'm not a huge fan of kale for the smoothies, but I do like the smoothies. I put a banana, apple, blueberries, mango, and then a big monster handful of sprouts in there, and they're good. So
I'm not a raw food expert, but I am interested in some days I just want to eat raw, especially in the summertime. It feels so good. And
yeah.
having sprouts, that is the key to living or eating a raw whole food, plant-based or vegan diet is you've got to have the sprouts because you're getting
Yeah.
so much nutrition and protein. It's
Yeah.
almost mandatory from what I've done and what I've studied in raw food eating. So good for you, Ray. Do you
Yeah.
eat raw sometimes a couple days a week like I do?
Well, a lot of times I'll just have salad, which is certainly raw. And
Raw.
when I'm out, I have a garden with 6 raised beds, and I'm picking strawberries this morning. The salad is there, so sometimes it doesn't make it inside the house. I just, if I've watered it, it's already rinsed off. I throw it in my mouth, so it's been pretty fun. Sheri,
That's
today we're going to talk about mindset, and
mm,
I know that when you coach people, you talk about having them get their mindset, get their head right.
yeah.
So for me, when I switched 6 years ago, I think I've shared with you, I lost a brother 6 years ago, and to lung cancer, heart disease, diabetes, and right from then that time on, I started watching the movies. I watched, I call it the Netflix diet, where I watched whole, Forks Over Knives, What the Health, Cowspiracy, one after another. I think I watched 5 in one day, and I haven't had a piece of chicken, beef, pork, turkey since. I've had, 6 turkeyless Thanksgivings, no more leg of lamb. I used to love leg of lamb. I haven't had it, and I think something clicked in me. And again, it was an emotional thing to lose a brother that I was so close to. But when my mind said to me, I'm done with it, I was done with it. It was the same thing with me with alcohol. I've shared with you, I lost a little sister to alcohol, and it was a one-shot deal. Boom. I've never had another drink in the last 16 years. So how do you coach someone to have a mindset to get them ready to make a major change in their life? Because people don't change real easily, do they?
Well, they do change in the beginning. Like when people call me, their mind is made up, they have to make a change and they're inspired to make the call, but what happens is we lose the momentum, we lose the motivation and start to go back to what we're drawn to in the past, some of our food addiction, some of our mental abilities. And so yes, it's really important on that moment, like you said, you had that mindset, that huge inspiration, which is on the top. The inspiration is what we want to deep dive, make a deep dive down into and make into our mind. Our inspiration is going to be at the top. Then on a day to day, we have to find the motivation to keep going towards our inspiration, and that takes a mindset. And that's what this is all about, is making up your mind that you want to either eat healthier, or you want to feel more compassionate for the animals, you want to save the environment, whatever your reason is in your mind, that you want to make that commitment to yourself. And you have to dig really deep. And so when you're working in my program, we do journaling, because when you're journaling and you're writing down the reasons why, you don't realize how powerful it is to write down what you're grateful for, what's your inspiration, maybe reading some affirmation. Mindset is really the place that we really start when we're making a lifestyle change. And so when we're giving up addictive behaviors and we're making a change and removing foods and behaviors from the past and adding in something new, we have to really focus our mind. We have to really want this desire. We have to dig deep. And the moment that you make the call, or the moment that you see, those videos were great examples. I love watching those documentaries, and I'll even revisit them. I don't know about you, Ray. I go
Oh,
back to those just because they re-inspire me. They re-encourage me and make me feel motivated. And so it starts with that mindset. That's the very, very beginning before any of this. And sometimes the hardest thing to do is to admit that you need to make this change. And you, that day, how many times, especially you'll hear it in AA meetings and alcohol, you wake up and you want to quit and you want to start. And then 30 days later, what are you doing again? You're drinking again, or you're eating the sugar again, you're having the cheese again. And so when you make up your mindset that you really see what you want to be and how you want to change, it takes a lot of mindset and a lot of willpower. But as we give up some of those addicted, or I call them adulterated foods, it makes it easier, and that kind of like reinforces your mindset, because I don't want people to think always it's the mind. It starts with the mind, but if you keep eating sugar and dabbling with it, it's physiological addictive. And so that brings you back into the old behavior. And then you go the spiral of shame, and then you feel emotionally down, and then you don't feel like exercising or eating well, and you might go on a binge. That's all old behavior. And so it takes work, it takes a focus, and it takes an experienced coach like myself. That's why I'm not only just a dietitian. I like to call myself a lifestyle coach too, because I know through experience of years of working with people and consulting, the lifestyle change comes at the beginning, making that mindset, and then having someone there to support you on the day to day, making those changes and starting to change your life. It's just a long journey. It's never ending. But when you start getting some positive results and start feeling really good, your mindset lifts, your motivation, your frequency, your vibration. When you start feeling really good, you're going to make more and more better choices, and life goes on in a happy, joyous way.
yeah. Sheri, that certainly people that you probably have a lot of people that come to you that are on multiple medications, whether it's cholesterol, blood pressure, maybe they're diabetic, a type 2 diabetic and on insulin. How long do you think it is before they start feeling way better? I think as you start to feel better, the mindset becomes even easier, wouldn't it, along the journey?
I think so. It's really interesting. I've heard people say after 1 week of giving up sugar, white flour, oils, and alcohol, and eating a whole food plant-based just for 1 week trying it, they say unbelievable how much better they feel. But really, realistically, it takes about 6 weeks, I would say, to start really getting the momentum. And then it takes about 6 months to make the whole lifestyle change, where you've given up all of the old behaviors, the old standard American diet, becoming whole food plant-based, and make a lifestyle change. In 6 months, you can be off all your medications. You could be feeling great, losing weight. In 6 months, a lifestyle reappears. It's kind of like a cocoon, it's kind of like the caterpillar, and then becomes a butterfly in 6 months. And really, how that's really short when we think about the investment in the long-term process of our life. And if you want to live a long, healthier life, it's good just to give yourself 6 months to make that lifestyle change, of a commitment, of making up your mind you're really, really going to do this and follow through. I can't say over 15 years that I've been perfect and that I haven't had ups and downs where I've revisited sugar in particular, but I don't have those deep dive roller coaster rides that you have up and down with sugar or alcohol or fats and white flour. They're more like little hills, but that through that contrast, you learn how you really want to feel. And so you have less and less of that. I think I'm really done for sugar now. I had a little episode just this past Christmas, and it started with just a few handfuls of chocolate covered almonds, thinking, well, they're almonds, that chocolate covered, I can have one or two, it's not going to affect me. But that just sent me on a run of wanting more Christmas cookies. And then I just wanted something salty and something savory. And it just kind of was a little bleep in my life, but I recommitted and came back into where I feel the best. And that's like, I know that I can't have a little bit of sugar. So it's not a perfect, but again, my mindset is reevaluating. My mind is like, this is where I feel the best, and I'm committed to the good feeling. And that's when you make up your mindset. You want to feel good.
Yeah, I think I've never had any struggles with once I stopped eating meat. I've never really craved it and not had a problem with it, whether I'm at a barbecue and they're flipping hamburgers or steaks. I think the biggest one that I've had was ice cream. I think when people understand that, they put the nutrition facts on food in grams of sugar, and we've talked about it before, 4 grams of sugar to a teaspoon. Well, if you pick up a pint of Ben and Jerry's ice cream, and certainly a big guy could not, or a woman could knock off a whole pint. It says on the pint 3 servings. Well, I don't know. Years ago, we used to eat, share a pint with somebody, but I could certainly eat a whole pint. Well, I looked on the back. I had an urge the other day. I looked on the back of the Ben and Jerry's. It's 104 grams of sugar in 1 pint of Ben and Jerry's ice
Oh
cream.
my gosh.
I
And
look
how
at
many
each
grams are in a teaspoon or tablespoon? Isn't
four.
it quite a
Yeah.
bit?
So you're talking 25 times 4 is 100. And, so 26 teaspoons of sugar in 1 pint of, and most of them are added sugars. You have some, it's added sugar. So, I think once again, once you understand the science, and it's so important to look at those labels that, a little bit of sugar, you would think, I would say if they put on that nutrition facts 25 teaspoons of sugar, maybe a few people wouldn't buy that, but they put it on in grams. They really shouldn't
Grams, it's so
do that.
sneaky. I
It's
just saw a
not,
video in a plant-based group, someone posted that and made that point across that showed that on the packaging, they say grams and you can't really figure out grams because we're not in the metric system. And so they don't use the teaspoons. That's so tricky. Ray, have to say, I have to pipe in and say ice cream is the perfect storm for me too. That's one thing I know I can't touch because not only does it have the sugar, but it has the delicious cream and fatty, buttery.
oh
It's a
yeah,
perfect storm.
oh yeah,
So that's one thing I know I've had to give up because I had a bad issue with that my growing up. It was ice cream, ice cream.
yeah.
I couldn't just
And what do
have a
they
milk.
do ever since your kids? The little soccer teams, they take them out for ice cream after or pizza. So it starts at a young age, and you've been eating that stuff for most of your young years, and they think it's a treat for kids. As I say,
The
I've
ice
got,
cream truck. Do you remember the ice cream truck? My mom would give me a
oh,
quarter to go get
oh
an ice cream.
God, oh yeah, absolutely.
That was
So,
so fun. But we were so active, we would exercise it off, but it just starts developing that habit. And let's bring it back to the mindset. So now not to have ice cream. Do you think you'll ever do this again?
well, what I do, Sherry, is I make my own what they call nice cream. And again, it's from frozen. I take my bananas as the bananas get overripe. I cut them up into chunks and freeze them. And I always keep a couple of containers of frozen bananas in there. And then I have frozen blueberries, strawberries, mango. I add little cacao. I add little flax milk. And yeah, it's not Ben and Jerry's, but you know what? It's good enough. And then I'll throw some fresh blueberries on top of it. And it's a very refreshing dessert if I've got a craving for ice cream. You gotta thaw it out a little bit before, versus ice cream that comes from the store is pretty scoopable, but you just have to plan it a little bit. And what
I
about?
just I just ordered an ice cream, a fruit maker, because it was on Facebook and they were advertising it. I posted it
I
in the
saw
Facebook
that. I
group.
saw that. And
I can't
Sherry,
wait to try that because I've made the nice cream, but it
yeah,
gets kind of melty. This machine looks like it has a freezer inside it, so it comes out almost just like that texture. And it's summer. We want things that are cold.
yeah,
Someone also posted a fudgesicle recipe, so we can make those kinds of things and
saw
get
that.
around it. But it's
Had
the
a sweet
mindset.
potato too,
What
sweet
keeps
potatoes and your fudgicles, right? Yeah.
Right. Yeah,
Yeah.
that was really a good recipe, but it's like that's when it comes back to the mindset of making that decision. It's like you've heard that saying, pick your bad. One bad is to have high cholesterol and have diabetes and be overweight, not feel good. That's a bad. And then you also think, oh, it's so bad that I can't have ice cream at the party and everybody's enjoying it and they're having so much fun. And people are making homemade ice cream. That really makes my mouth water. But I know that that's taking a risk of causing a trigger reaction where you want it again and again. Once you get back on that sugar, once you hit the heroin, your mind goes crazy. And so part of the mindset is coming to terms with your mind that you're going to make up your mind. And that's why it's called mindset, to have that time where you have that moment where you could just take a bite, or you could grab a handful of the chocolate covered almonds like I did, or you could have a little bit of Jerry's, thinking we can master it. When you have this mindset, you're really confident, and journaling every day is what I recommend and work with my clients, just to remind yourself that pick your bad. The bad is that, the good is that you're going to feel amazing and you're going to have these results over time, and you get less and less interested in it. You really do.
Yeah. And mindset, Sheri, also toward your own personal fitness. I think that people, as they get older and they're out of shape, they might be 20, 30 pounds overweight. They're not, morbidly obese, but people get to an age where they don't think they can get fit again. And I can tell you that's not true. And again, it's making up your mind that says, I'm going to get on that bicycle or go for a walk or whatever it is, and make it part of my daily routine. And once you do that, and then again, as you go along, you see improvements, you feel better, you're walking a little bit faster, you're biking a further distance. And again, it's in the mind, and it's getting your mind to think that way.
Yeah, it starts with the mindset. And most people, when they want to make a change, come out of the gate with a strong mindset. The rubber band's tight, the tension. I'm tired of not being healthy. I'm tired of not having energy. I'm tired of having backache, inflammation, not feeling good. My bowels are not regular. Whatever that reason is, your mindset is strong at that point. But how do we keep it going when it's down the road, when it's like, oh, you start to get confident, or you start to loosen up, or the craving starts to come back? That's when you have to really come back into that mindset and remember that day that you started and had that feeling. And also, like you said, as you're feeling better, you're seeing results from your workout, your food is giving you the energy and the clarity. It all starts to master, but it's always coming back to the mindset and just having those conversations inside your mind and making those great decisions to keep you going over time. Your inspiration is really important. Why are you doing this? Why is this important? And revisiting that is really natural and normal.
I notice on your Facebook page, Sheri, you're always putting up statements on there that are real positive statements and things that people can live by. Where do you find all those, and how? It's really a great tool.
You know what? It's some things that I just look for, because I'm finding that the positive affirmations really soothe my soul and resonate with me and keep me going on this path. And so I like to share them. I find them in different places. I have, several books full of affirmations. In my journal at the top is an affirmation. You
Yeah.
can find them, different places on the internet. And so having affirmations surrounded, they're in my bedroom, they're in my office. I always have calendars, flip calendars that at the top have an inspiration.
Yeah.
Those little reminders are really powerful. And then writing down your own affirmations and writing down what you're grateful for and what you appreciate, and coming from that place of high vibrant frequency and having a relationship with the higher power up above is really important for your mindset, and appreciating yourself for making these decisions to stay active and to eat healthy and focus on feeling good. I think it's part of being a contribution to society, is being the best that you can possibly be.
Yeah. Sheri, do you find many families that you might be working with someone when the rest of the family isn't really on board? Do they get the rest of the family members doing what they're doing, or how does that seem to work?
It's so individual. Most of the time, I work with women, of course, and they're the matriarchs in the kitchen, and they're pretty much controlling the kitchen. And as they control the kitchen and as they become healthier, those are the foods that the women choose to bring in the house. Certainly, it's usually more women than men want to be, quote, vegan or healthy. Men still have a tendency. And I really think it's part of the genes and the genetic. Men want to be on the fire, like the caveman days. And it's like fire is really important to men, to stand around and barbecue. And that's what I love with all your tips with barbecuing, Ray. You always bring, and you can stand around the fire and barbecue and not have to be eating meat. But women are more willing to give that up. Men and women are different. But if one person starts in the family and starts to be, the role model, and you see the difference, and you're so much happier and so feel so much better when you're healthy, everybody starts to notice the difference in your personality. You're changing from being the person that you were before. And that is through food. Believe it or not, it's an emotional tie, and you can release that and feel better when you change your mindset. Other people fall in line. Some men follow along, and they become that together. I love doing couples that sign up together. It makes the relationship stronger. And so many times, unfortunately, parents think they have to feed their children that kind of stuff, the processed foods. I think people are becoming more conscious and aware that they can give them healthier choices, but so many times it's like, my children are still eating ice cream. My children are still eating snacky cakes and, things in bags like Doritos and those kinds of foods. And they're like, they have to be in the house because of my children. Again, when you want to make your mindset and you want to make it strong, even if those foods are in the house and you're taking care of yourself, sure, it's a lot easier to have a clean house and a clean kitchen, but sometimes that's not optional.
Yep. Great talking to you again. Sheri, remind us, how do we get in touch with you? How do we find you on the internet?
Oh my gosh, SheriGoodmanGraham.com is my website, where you can find a lot of great recipes, a lot of good information if you need lifestyle coaching and want some help making the transition. I'm all over Facebook. I have a healthy Facebook private group that are for my clients and my clients' best friends and family members, but I'm also on Facebook and I do regularly post. And if you reach out to me and direct, instant message me, and you want to be in the group and you're not a client, I always take that into consideration. I
Yeah.
love to have people in any way give out freebies and as much information. There's menu plans, there's all kind of support in that group. So I'm really open-minded to allowing as many people as I feel fit for the group
Yeah.
to be
And
involved.
also, you always offer a free phone call, correct, right?
Yeah, yes, give me a call. It doesn't cost anything to call. If you go to
Right.
my website, there's a link, and you can post the link down here to my website. Then you can make a call with me. We can chat for 30 minutes. It's no charge at all. It's complimentary. If I can be of service, that's my passion. I get way too excited about fruits and vegetables. I'm a plant-based enthusiast. And, I love to work with people that may need some support in their mindset, because I realize that's a huge part of this.
Great talking to you, Sheri. We'll talk again
Okay.
soon.
Thanks so much, Ray. Have a good day.
You too.
Bye.
Bye-bye.